You are listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast. My name's Andrew Mackay-Smith. You're about to listen to a conversation between myself and Sven from the band Aborted. Aborted are touring Australia in September with the Black Dahlia Murder. I'll read out some dates, all in September. The 21st, they're playing in Perth. The 22nd, they're playing in Adelaide. The 23rd, they're playing in Melbourne. The 24th, they're playing in Hobart. The 25th, they're playing in Newcastle. The 26th, they are playing in Canberra. The 27th, they are playing in Sydney, and on the 28th, they are playing at Crowbar in Brisbane. Let's have a listen to what Sven has to say. Here we go. Okay, indeed. All right, so how have the phone calls been going with the Australian media type? I noticed you've got a 3-hour grind to get through, so I hope we're treating you well.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I woke up and I started talking to a bunch of Australians, so I'm madly confused right now, but it's cool.
Well, it's the evening here, mate. I'm in Queensland, so I'm probably in a different part of Australia to where the other people that you've been speaking to are from. It's not too bad here at the moment. It's about 15 degrees, but it can get pretty cold at night for us, which that's cold, by the way. I know you're from Belgium, mate. You probably laugh at me when I say 15 degrees, but yeah, if it goes much lower than that, mate, I start to get out the winter woolies.
That's awesome. Yeah, I honestly would be rather have that right now than the fucking heat wave that we've been having. It's fucking insane.
Yeah, what the hell is the go with that? Who was I was talking to Frederick from Sinsanum last week about that, and he was saying that it forces him to wake up very early in the morning. So, is there any? I mean, I know global warming, etc., but is it anything else that the press over there is telling you guys why it's so bloody hot? Because the other thing is, I spoke to someone from Iceland, and they said they've had their coldest summer. So you guys have got your hottest summer, and they've got their coldest summer. So what the hell's going on? Do we know?
Yeah, I guess it's a temperature shift globally there's a climate change. It's undeniable. I mean, at this point, it's literally proving itself. It's happening sooner than it should be, but to be honest, I don't keep up with the details because I try not to watch the news and all that too much, since I don't. To me, it's like a waste of time. So
yeah, it is a waste of time. You're right. I get most of my news from Twitter these days, but that's an absolute septic tank most of the time as well, isn't it? People arguing with each other and yelling and using caps to prove their point.
Absolutely, and that's what that new record is about too. So.
Is that right?
I agree with you. Yeah.
So here's a question for you. Do you guys get much feedback? So when I say feedback, there's idiots online protesting you with the band name, because I know Dying Fetus have copped it in the past, but is that something that you guys have ever had to deal with?
Yeah, I mean, in a lesser way, and it depends where. There are some countries that we cannot go to, for example.
Wow. Okay.
We were not allowed to perform in China because of the band name, which is absolutely hilarious to me, because I don't think there's a country with more abortions than China, so it's extremely hypocritical. But yeah, we're not allowed to go there because our name violates human rights. Even if the word aborted in itself doesn't have anything to do with abortion. And I think Dubai, we had issues as well.
Okay, so you were able to play there, and you just had to get moved out pretty quickly, or you weren't able to go there?
No. We were told the show's canceled, but we can, because of the government or whatever. But we were still allowed to go and have vacation since they paid the flights yet. And we're like, well, your government canceled our show. I don't think we're tempted to come and have vacay.
No, and look, there's been a few Australians that have been incarcerated for drinking alcohol over there when it's actually been served to them. I don't want to misquote, of course, but I know some people. Oh, there was an article. It was a credible source too. It wasn't a bullshit source that was trying to sensationalise it, but it was. I've been to Dubai once, and I've got to say I loved it there, but that was before I understood the human rights issues and the violations that are occurring over there. And I did thoroughly enjoy my time there. They've got these. Got to say this. If you've got kids, mate, you got to go, because they've got these water parks, these slides. They're the best bloody slides that have ever been on anywhere in the world. I know there's some big ones in the United States at what is it, Six Flags, or whatever it's called, but these fun parks over there, mate, if you got kids, or just forget about kids, as an adult, mate, they're a lot of bloody fun. It's a bit of a guilty pleasure, I must say, but if you ever get offered the opportunity again and you like that sort of stuff, take it with both hands.
All right, cool. Yeah, maybe. I just for us it's a little bit more risky because of what happened. We're kind of like water park versus incarceration
Mm.
is, it's an easy choice.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree, mate. Right. Well, look, I better talk about your tour down under with
Cool.
Black Dahlia Murder. So you're obviously aware that people are hotly anticipating this particular tour. So what sort of a show are you planning on bringing down?
Well, first of all, we're super excited since it's been 4 years since we've been to Australia, and even like for example, Perth, we haven't been to in 10 years. So we're very excited to see the people again. I think our album actually drops on the first day of the tour. We're gonna
Mm.
do our best to play some new songs if possible. I think we should be able to. We'll see.
Mm. Cool.
But yeah, they can expect quite the intense and brutal show of Aborted with a lot of really bad, terrible, shitty jokes thrown in.
Well, I hope something doesn't happen to you that happened to both Glenn Benton from Deicide and also Corpse Grinder from Cannibal Corpse. Now, this is years ago, but some idiots at the Brisbane show decided to spit on them. And I think if anybody does that to you, mate, have a good go at them. I think it's disgusting, and I know it's not just at that show. There, I've spoken to other people where they've been to shows that I haven't attended where it's happened. So, anybody out there that's listening to this, because I intend on releasing this as a podcast episode, mate, if that's okay. Anybody out there that's listening to this and plans on going to a show in Australia and spitting on you, mate, they deserve what they're going to cop.
Yeah, yeah. Why?
I don't.
Why would you bother? If you don't like a band, don't go.
Well,
Why are you wasting your money, you dummy?
it happened to Les Claypool of Primus as well. I went to the Primus gig and someone spat on him, and it's
Are they trying to start like a civil rights spit movement or something? I don't know.
Oh, all I can think is there might be substance abuse there. That's all I can put it down to. I don't
Uh,
understand why any sane thinking person would do that to an artist or a musician when they're paying for the performance, assuming they've paid for the ticket to go. Why would you do
yeah,
that?
exactly.
You know.
Exactly.
Something I really like about you guys though is your merch strategy. Your popcorn box. So you've got a custom TerraVision popcorn box. Tell us all about that.
Well, I know. We were thinking like, okay, so the last Bunchy albums, we've been all about the whole 80s horror, imagery and world,
Mm.
let's put it that way. Did the whole universe. So we're like, well, what can we do that's not been done and that would be cool? Well, here's an idea. Why don't we have an aborted slumber party massacre survival kit? So we had the box of popcorn, the flashlight, the blanket, and the shirt, and all that shit. So initially it was way crazier, but it got too expensive, so we decided to just keep it to the blanket. But we were gonna do a pillow and pajama pants too.
Pajama pants. If you do that, I'm going to
How,
buy a pair of them. That's awesome.
dude? I want pajama pants so bad.
Yeah.
It'll be awesome.
Yeah, I
It'll give me a
second that.
reason not to sleep naked, honestly. But th- that would
Yeah.
have been the ultimate like slumber party fucking thing. But we went with the popcorn, the flashlight, and all the other shit. And it's cool. It's funny. It's sold out in less than 5 hours, and which we did not expect whatsoever. But it's a really cool thing. And to me, it's like I feel like a kid again. Every time when we do an album or we get to do some shit, I'm like, all right, what ridiculous fucking thing can I come up with to
Yeah.
have as merch? And it's really fun to do because really it makes you feel like a fucking kid.
That's awesome. I love the fact that you're so enthusiastic about it too, because I get the impression sometimes. Okay, so I'll pick on Deicide again if that's okay. So I reviewed their new album the other day. they're not
Okay.
even. They're not. They've done a couple of obligatory things on socials. They haven't touched their Twitter page in 5 years or something. 2013, 2014 was the last time I saw a tweet. I checked this morning, so that's recent information. But yeah, they don't seem to have that engagement with fans, and you don't really feel excited about what their new releases. It's not too bad. I've softened on it. Initially, I didn't quite like it. I thought it was a throwback to the Hoffman Brothers era, and I much preferred what Ralph Santola did with the band. Personal preference, but you just get the impression that it's more of I'm just going to put it out there and hope it sells and do the obligatory small tours, blah, blah, blah. But you specifically have thought, you know what, I'm going to offer some fans some really cool shit. I'm going to make this a real event and something for fans to really look forward to. Whenever Aborted have got an album out, you can look forward to a whole bunch of really cool shit coming out with that.
Yeah, thanks, man. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, if you think about it too, there's a lot of options to listen to music legally and illegally. Even if you have Spotify, let's say you listen to most of your music digitally because you're always on the move.
Yeah.
Why would you cash out money for an album? And to me, it's like, well, if people are gonna make the effort of buying the record and actually owning it, we should make the effort to, make it worth their while. It's not like, 10, 15 years ago where an album came out and, there were way less albums coming out. You had to go to a record store. It was a completely different experience. And I think as musicians, you have to evolve too and get with the time and realize that you have to think outside the box. And, people that actually buy your record, there's no entitlement, it's thanks to them too that you're still doing what you're doing, that you're touring, that you're able to still fulfill your passion in life. So give back,
Yeah. And the other thing that I noticed you're doing, and I didn't realise this until I went to Encyclopedia Metallium, is that you've been credited with a shitload of artwork and collaborative design. So just two excellent artists that you've worked with, Incantation and Immolation, but there are many, many more. So is that something that are going to continue to do, is provide artwork and provide graphics for other artists?
I used to. A bunch of years ago, but with my professional career being way too busy, I simply don't have the time anymore. And if I still do artwork, it's for good friends of mine or bands I really love. And I don't do it so much anymore. The last records I've done were a bunch of Benighted records because I love the guys and they're really good friends, really good band. Other than that, I mean, yeah, I'll do some layouts, I'll do some stuff, but and I'll be frankly honest. I mean, there's in terms of artwork, there's way better artists out there right now these days than I could do, since I haven't done it in so long. So those people that put in all the time and energy, that's who the band should be going to, rather than I'm doing a whole different kind of design now, and it's not something I really want to do anymore because it's very time consuming.
Yep.
And I don't have the time, and those other people are, experts in it, and more power to them,
Yep. All right. Fair enough, mate. Gosh, time goes by all too bloody quickly with these phoners, doesn't it? So I better make this my last one. You've got band members living in different countries and continents, and you've had a fair few band members coming through over the years in the band beside you, and I think you've been going over 20 years nowadays, mate. So how have you done it? How have you kept the faith? Because I know being in an indie band, for all intents and purposes, a death metal band, it isn't easy. We know that. So how have you kept the faith?
Well, it's mainly you gotta really think about why you're doing this. And for me, I'm doing this, and I think most of us are doing this because playing music is a passion. I started the band back in '95 because there was a lack of death metal releases, and I couldn't get my death metal fix back in the day. So I was like, well, fuck this shit, I'll start a band, and it just started from there. And it's always been a passion, and music and playing live and creating music that I like has always been a thriving force. So it's really that. I mean, if your motivation is money and fame or whatever the fuck else you can think of, good luck to you, because you're in the wrong business, my friend. I can tell you that. But it's really up all down to being able to enjoy what you're doing, and have fun with the people that you're doing it with. And especially for the last 4 years, we've really grown into being like sort of a family, and everything we do, we have fun doing it together. And to me, it's more important than money or anything. The fact that I can go on tour with my best friends for a month and actually enjoy what I'm doing is worth more than anything.
Mm-hmm. Mate, great response. I'll leave it there. The album Terror Vision, I've got a copy of it. I've been listening to it a fair bit, actually. It's an outstanding album. Congratulations on the career, as I've alluded to, mate. Long may you continue making brutal death grind as you have done so well for the last 20-odd years. And, mate, as I alluded to at the beginning of the conversation, I've got kids, so it's very hard for me to get out and watch shows these days. But if I can get to a show, mate, yours is going to be one of them, no doubt.
Thank you very much, man.
No worries,
and
mate.
Thanks for the interview.
No worries. All the best, eh?
Cool. Cheers. See you around.
Catch ya. Bye-bye. You have been listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast. My name's Andrew Mackay-Smith, and that was my conversation with Sven from the band Aborted. Thank you so much for listening.